Good evening and welcome. You're watching Connect on NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Yes, this is the show that lets you, the viewer, become panelists on our broadcast. Also allows you to connect live with us through the program, through Facebook, WhatsApp and Twitter. We will, of course, be joined very shortly by senior journalist and film critic Anupama Chopra, who will, of course, be talking about the big launch of At the Movies with Anupama Chopra, the big show that's launching this weekend. We'll also have actor Akanksha Juneja, actor and anchor Akanksha Juneja joining us in our studios, also a viewer. But first, over to Ritangshu for more. He's joining us live from our digital desk.
Well, thanks indeed, Uday, and this is a very special edition of Correct as well indeed, because just ahead of the mega launch of At the Movies with Anupama Chopra on NewsX, we are inviting all our viewers to connect with us on the 3 social media platforms that are always available to you, Facebook, Twitter and WhatsApp, and ask your questions to Anupama Chopra. And the topic and the theme of discussion today is whether you have seen the new age star kids rise in the form of social media, not just kids who have a celebrity connection, but also kids who have gone viral just because of their original content and their original thinking here. So I'm at the digital desk. I'm also being joined by noted image guru and PR consultant, Mr. Dilip Cherian. Also, Mr. Cherian, thank you so much for joining us on Connect today. And we will be today, for a change, getting all your voices, all your questions posted. We've already got a sizable number of them with us at this point already, and we will be posting these questions to Anupama Chopra when she joins us live, and we will be getting you her responses as well here. But meanwhile, continuing this debate today, obviously you can join us on Facebook, Twitter and WhatsApp, and send us message on WhatsApp as well. We are live right now from the NewsX and NewsX HD channels, as well as on our Facebook page on newsx.com/ on facebook.com/newsx online. Yeah. Well, Uday, continuing the debate here, Mr. Cherian.
Okay, so let the debate begin now. Let the debate begin. Of course, as Ritangshu was saying, they will continue to be live on Facebook. But for now, of course, we are going to begin in our NewsX studios as well. Bhavdeep is the people's panelist today on the broadcast. He's a viewer joining us on the show as well. And Akanksha Juneja, of course, as I said, actor and anchor in our studio. So Akanksha, over to you first. Your opening comments on how important... okay, before I come to you, Akanksha, I'm being told Anupama Chopra also is joining us live on the broadcast. Anupama Chopra, veteran film critic and senior journalist. Anupama, good to have you on NewsX. We're getting ready. We're gearing up to the big launch of your show At the Movies with Anupama tomorrow. So before we begin our talking point for the day, just a quick insight for our viewers joining us on what can they expect from your show, Anupama.
Well, reviews, conversations with artists, interviews, and, you know, just a sort of front row view on what's new and what's exciting in the movies for that week.
Okay, and you know, your thoughts, Anupama, on the topic for the day today. It's about how social media is playing a huge role in the stars' lives. You know, they're digitally savvy, most of the young generation, and of course, they make it a point to interact with their fans through Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram, much like the concept of this show as well, where we'll be getting our viewers to interact with you live. So your thoughts on social media's role in the film industry today, Anupama?
Well, I have to tell you first that I love social media. I really enjoy the sort of interactivity that it offers. I get trolled all the time, and it's just part of it's the nature of the beast. There's nothing you can do with it. You learn over years to sort of have a thick skin and just keep going. I think it's very interesting the way especially Twitter has sort of played into the fabric of the Hindi film industry. You know, every star, almost every actor, there are a few major ones who still aren't on it, Aishwarya, Kareena, Ranbir, to name a few. But I think most actors have completely sort of married the concept of being able to speak directly to fans, being able to market, being able to prop up their own brands. And I think it's very interesting. What we have lost is the idea of that sort of Garbo-esque mystery of the social, of an actor, you know, where you didn't know everything. Today they are documenting every single thing. You didn't mention Snapchat, but that's the other one that we are, you know, looking at all day. And I know exactly where Diljit Dosanjh is on any given moment because he's such an avid Snapchatter. So I think it's very interesting. As a consumer of cinema, as an observer of the Hindi film industry, I'm intrigued by all the changes that have taken place over the last 10 years, over the last 5 years with social media. It's also a massive marketing tool now. So there's no ignoring it. It's not going away.
Okay, it's not going away. Akanksha, you know, you're a star who's quite active on social media as well. Tell us how important it is for you and how important it is for the film and TV industry today.
Look, I would say I'm very happy these things are available in market because I can, you know, personally interact with all my fans. I don't have to answer them personally, just a post from me. They get to know whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, what I'm shooting. It gets me, like, you know, with one Snapchat, I get connected to 100 of them. So I don't need to personally go and answer, and if whatever message I want to give them, I want to share whatever about my life, I just put a Snapchat. I'm a Snapchatter.
Okay.
So I just put a Snapchat and I'm sorted with that.
So you're an avid Snapchatter, of course, and as Anupama was saying yesterday also on the interview when I spoke with her, you sometimes know now what your stars are having for breakfast as well. That's when Snapchat starts, and of course you know sometimes when they've called it a night as well. I want to get in quickly Bhavdeep now. He's our people's panelist. Bhavdeep, you are a fan and a viewer and someone who's passionate about the film industry. How much do you look at your favorite stars, Twitter feeds, Facebook feeds for information about them? Is it a big deal for you?
I think it's a very big deal because not only it's about like sharing my opinions, but if I have to know anything about the movies, I can't just go and watch a movie. I can just go on YouTube and watch an audio or a video and just know about it. So getting to know what they are doing, and not just from their own account. Everybody is not on every other social platform. So I get to know from those gossip websites. There are some fashion websites, some fashion film festival is happening, or something or else is happening. Just last night, you know, like somebody is having a birthday bash, so who all are coming, who all are not coming, what all happened inside. So it's actually very exciting, and you know, we people actually share about it, and people read about it. People want to read about it.
Absolutely. You know, it ignites the voyeurs in people, doesn't it? And Anupama, the interesting part of social media, and particularly YouTube, if we can talk about it now, is the fact how it's actually leading to stars coming about in the film fraternity. There are examples of Rohan Joshi from AIB who got a part in Bar Bar Dekho. There's Malika Dua, another YouTube sensation who got a part in Irfan Khan's latest film, Hindi Medium. And there are many other examples. Karan Gill, he was in Noor, of you know, YouTube sensations who've been tapped into by filmmakers without an audition.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm a YouTuber. I run a digital company called Film Companion, and I'm all for it. You know, look also internationally. Look at Lily Singh, Superwoman, who has a global following now, thanks to the videos she's been making on YouTube for so many years. So it's a wonderful thing. It's a democracy. There is the dark side to it, like there is to everything, because opinions get very shrill. The anonymity that social media offers you leads to very sort of extreme responses, leads to the trolling, leads to, you know, all sorts of shaming on social media, and you have to be sort of, like I said before, thick-skinned and be able to sort of handle that with the bad. But I think it's also an amazing means of expressing yourself. It's an amazing means of connecting with people, and we just have to learn to use it wisely.
Indeed. And I want to come back to you, Anupama, at this point, because I want to ask you about the flip side as well. Sometimes you have stars who have their PR managers and who have others handling their social media accounts. So you don't really know whether it's the star you're talking to, whether it's the star who's sending you those replies, or it's their PR manager as part of a strategy. And that's where, you know, an interview comes in, because many people say that if stars are reaching out to fans directly, does that make film interviews and film journalists redundant? But then that's the platform that actually makes the star, the person, come out, because you're talking to them directly. There's no PR in front of you, Anupama, or there's no PR in front of any other senior journalist while they're speaking with the stars. So that's the importance of shows like yours, which you'll be starting on NewsX from tomorrow.
Absolutely. I don't think social media can replace the interview, and I'm not just saying that because I do the interview. I think, a journalist's job is to ask the right questions and to elicit some information, to elicit an understanding of the person that you're talking to that perhaps people wouldn't get from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and of course people have social media, digital managers and strategists and other people tweeting and posting for them. Of course, everybody does that. But the most interesting people are the ones who have their own voice. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that Shah Rukh Khan is extremely engaging on Twitter, or Rishi Kapoor is extremely engaging, because that is their voice. You can
Indeed.
hear it in the tweet. They're not. It's not a sort of very diplomatic kind of banal, sort of colorless corporate voice that's speaking to you.
Indeed.
It is a personal voice, and that's always interesting. And the truth is that now a part of my interviews is about things they've said on Twitter or pictures they posted on Instagram. So it is all feeding into the questions
Absolutely.
that I'm asking, because it is a raw reflection of who that person is.
Sometimes tweets, of course, make headlines as well. Our politicians know it, and so do our stars. I want to quickly cut across at this point to our digital desk. Ritangshu is standing by there. He's, of course, also having a conversation at this point with Dilip Cherian, founder of Perfect Relations. But we're getting some questions. We're getting some feedback as well, Ritangshu. What are people saying online? Do they have questions for Anupama? She's live with us. She can answer them.
Well, first of all, a big hello to Anupama Chopra from me, Ritangshu, and the rest of our digital desk here. Yes, we have been waiting quite patiently there for you to come to us, because we have a lot of questions lined up from our viewers here who want to ask some very important issues, address some very important issues with Anupama here. My colleague Karan has some of them lined up. Karan, let's take us through some of those questions which came on Twitter earlier, because there were some really pertinent ones, and he'll post it to Anupama directly.
Okay, so one of the prior questions that we were addressing were, Pranav wants to know, I'm curious to know what methods critics use to review a film. Why is it most of the times critics reject but masses love a movie? And here Manish Karki wants to know, is the licensing of social media and PR winning over the talent of acting in cinema?
All right. So
Anupama, to answer those questions, and I'll come back to you for more.
So the question is how I review films. Uday, you and I spoke a little bit about this yesterday. It's basically looking at the promise that a filmmaker has made to the audience and then evaluating whether that promise has been fulfilled or not. So like the film I saw yesterday, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, that should have been a really fun popcorn ride. I can't go in there expecting it to give me a great insight into sort of life or, give me gravitas. I just wanted a fun ride. It is based, after all, on a theme park ride. It didn't give me that. It was just leaden and long and not very interesting. And so for me, that film failed me as an audience, and that's how I judge it. So it is a little tricky. It's not as easy as this is better than that all the time, because we reduce everything to a star rating. People are very quick to draw conclusions. The star rating, I will say, is very simplistic. I've tried very hard to find another way to evaluate, but it seems to work for everybody. It's shorthand for what I'm trying to say. But there is a sort of more complex thought behind that star rating. I just wish more people would read and listen and not just say, "Haan, lekin aapne to 3 star diye the. Iska matlab kya hai?" So I face a lot of flack because of the star rating. But I use those kind of barometers for how to judge a film. I'm also looking at how deeply it engages me at any level. Whether it's sort of making me cry, making me laugh, engaging me emotionally. For me, the worst sin in the book is just eliciting no response. Because it's a big commitment from me to be in the theater, and I hope you'll do something to me.
Well, Anupama, this is Ritangshu from the digital desk. One of the important questions raised by one of our Twitter users, Manish, and that's also the focus of our debate today as well. Manish asks, is the licensing of social media and PR winning? Questions raised by one of our Twitter users, Manish, and that's also the focus of our debate today as well. Manish asks, is the licensing of social media and PR winning over the talent of acting in cinema? Now, obviously, this is a double-edged question, because some would also argue the people who are stars in social media are sometimes far more talented than star kids. So how do you weigh in on that?
You mean, is the question that are people who, because they have PR and social media, they're actually getting better roles than people who are talented? Is that the question?
Or just to broad base it, do we see an increasing phenomenon in which stars who already, or at least social media stars as we like to calling them, also being gaining a lot more acceptability and credibility when it comes to being casted for Bollywood films, as we've seen in the past with Rohan Joshi and with Kanan Gill?
Of course, and you know, the thing is that Rohan and Kanan already have
While
a
the debate continues,
built-in
Mr.
audience.
Cherian.
Yeah, go ahead, Anupama.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, so I was saying that Kanan and Rohan already have a built-in audience. You know, they have already built in a very loyal following as great comics. So of course it helps, and I think it kind of enlarges the pool for people in the film industry, because suddenly you have people and you see people, and let me tell you, it really matters what kind of following you have. I don't think that a director is casting somebody because they have a social media following, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt.
Okay, no, that's a valid point that you've made. We have some more questions from our guests as well on the panel, Anupama, for you. But very quickly, I want to go across to Facebook. We're getting a response over there coming in on the program. We like to try and play out as much as we can as well. So here's what Pranav Vikram Singh is saying. He's saying the Westerners get confused with Indian female actors, Deepika for Priyanka, now Sonam for Deepika. Doesn't this mean that they are being ignorant or racist? So that's an interesting point he's brought up there. That's something we've been talking about on NewsX as well after Sonam faced that at Cannes. Riddhi Garg says, why is India mostly about red carpet gossip at the Cannes? So now these are two very interesting points that I want to take straight to Anupama Chopra. And we were talking about this yesterday, Anupama, when you said, you lamented the fact that, you know, Indian cinema is just about red carpet and Cannes and not so much about the films as well.
Absolutely, and I think that you know, it is something we really need to look at. I understand that our cinema is an acquired taste. People who don't grow up with our form, our storytelling form is very different. It's very unique, and that is what has really enabled our industry to sort of stand strong in the onslaught of Hollywood. But it is, you know, you also now have movies which are not strictly speaking the standard Bollywood formula, and I think we are making films that appeal to the entire world. But I think we need to be working much harder on our scripts, especially if we want to have more of these films that kind of travel universally. You know, we did have the Lunchbox that worked in countries around the world, and that was a very, very local and a very personal film. And I think if we make more of those, we would be spoken about more for our cinema, because remember, Cannes is not a fashion platform. It is a film platform, and sadly it's just we don't have enough films there, and therefore we end up you know, having a conversation about the gowns and the shades of lipstick.
Indeed.
And who said what. But the year in which we actually break into a competition, you know, the official selection for the main competition section, that will be the year that we actually really arrive at Cannes.
Indeed, that's when Indian cinema can truly claim to have gone global. Two questions from our panel now. Akanksha, you have a question, and then I'll come to Bhavdeep for a quick question as well.
Anupama, when you review a film, there must be times you don't like the film, right? So do you feel bad giving a half or a 1 star to it? Like we put in so much efforts working on it.
That's an honest question from an actor who sometimes may feel bad if she gets a bad review.
Of course.
Your heart breaks.
Yeah.
No, Akanksha, I do feel bad. I'll tell you why. Because I'm married to the mob. My husband is a filmmaker. So I know how hard it is. I've spent 20 years watching him work and you know, watching Raju Hirani work, and I know the labor that goes into it. And even the worst films require a lot of physical and mental investment. So yes, I absolutely feel bad, and sometimes I think that I'm perhaps sometimes too generous, because I know how hard it is. You know, I do feel bad. And the truth is that I don't have the talent to make a film. I don't have the courage to make a film. So you know, the fact that you are making a movie already makes you far more talented than I can ever hope to be. But the other side is that I have given you 3 hours of my life. And if you don't do anything to me in those 3 hours, then I'm going to be a little upset. Then I'm going to go out with that one
Justifiably
star.
so, justifiably so. Bhavdeep now, our People's panelist on the program today has a question for you. Bhavdeep is of course a viewer of NewsX, but you are an active movie watcher as well. So go ahead, Bhavdeep.
Ma'am, you usually actually get messages on Twitter, on Instagram about various different options, like people want to watch this movie or that movie. I remember yesterday Tube Light trailer came. So people were super excited about that movie, and then there are certain movies people are all the time talking about, yeah, this movie will flop. This is like a complete disaster. How much pressure as a reviewer, as an entertainment journalist, does it put on you to actually review it according to a viewer's perspective, those messages which you get? Because they can either be troll also, and they can either be genuine opinion.
The pre-buzz, how much does an impact does the pre-buzz have really? Yeah, Anupama.
Of course. Of course. No, it can't put pressure on me. You know, there's a wonderful critic at the Los Angeles Times named Kenneth Furin. And Kenneth Furin is famously did not like the Titanic, which was at the time the most successful movie ever made in the world. And Kenneth did not like it. And you know, when there was a lot of sort of, anger about his review and about how disconnected he is from popular opinion, he came back with this wonderful phrase. He said, critics are not applause meters. We're not here to measure applause. I'm here to tell you my response to a film. That's all I can do, and it's only an opinion. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I really enjoyed Mere Pyari Bindu. I really thought it was a lovely film. I loved what they did with music. It was nostalgic. Not many other people liked it, and people just went crazy on Twitter. They were like, you are being paid by Aditya Chopra, YRF is this, you know. The other one, Befikre, which nobody else liked except for me.
I enjoyed it.
But I have to speak my truth. Did you? Hey, that makes 2 of us. But the thing is, look, I can only be honest to how I feel about a film, and I can only give you how I feel about a film. So you have to know that the review is coming from a place of honesty. There's no bias there.
Yeah.
There's no agenda. There is no, you know, there's no idea that I will prop up this person, but, you know, pull down this person. There's none of that. This is my response. We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely. And that's, of course, the beauty of cinema. Everyone has an opinion, isn't it? Stay with us, Anupama, because we're going back to the digital desk at this point. Ritangshu, let's go back across to you.
Well, yes, indeed. Their questions are coming thick and fast on our social media platforms here. What do we have on Facebook, Karan?
Okay, we just received this comment. This person, Vikram Singh, wants to know, the Westerners get confused with Indian female actors so easily, Deepika for Priyanka and now Sonam for Deepika. Doesn't this mean they hardly know us? Another comment, great to see you on a new show. I always wonder why international fame...
Okay. So we have 2 very important questions. Some of them are related as well, and we'd like to just paraphrase them for Anupama here. And we'll also get in more views and questions from our digital desk teammates also, and from Dilip Cherian as well. First question, Anupama. Pranav writes as mentioned, a very important aspect as to where Deepika, Sonam and Priyanka Chopra have often been confused for each other. Is that still indicative of a racist bias, or at least some tinge of racism through which the Western world still views us? The other question coming from Akshay is that, is a presence in Hollywood, or at least a presence in the Western world of entertainment, still necessary for a star to make their presence felt? Is it really that important, or is it just overrated hype?
Well, on the first one, you know, it's, I'm not sure if it's racism. It's definitely ignorance. They just don't know. They don't know. And obviously, our world, the world of Indian cinema, has not made enough of an impact in the West or on their lives in the way that perhaps a Chinese filmmaker has or a Korean filmmaker has, and they just don't know our actors, which is sad. They should. I mean, this is an extremely large, powerful, and loved film industry, but like I said before, it is an acquired taste. And when we speak of a global market for Indian cinema, we are speaking of, South Asians all over the world. We're speaking of, South Asians all over the world. We're speaking of, Germans, French, Turkish people. We're speaking of Malaysians. But have we really broken into the Western world? Have we broken into sort of the non-Indian markets in America, in US? I don't think so. In the UK, I don't think so. I mean, we are always, you know, Bahubali was on the US top 3. It was in that list. But how many American people, which is non-Asian people, saw it? I don't know. So they clearly don't know enough about our cinema. Is it important?
But why aren't they making an attempt to know then? Anupama, you know, surely there are foreign journalists wanting to know about Priyanka and Deepika as well. Like you've interviewed them, I'm sure there are others. Why aren't they making more an attempt?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know, I think at this point, maybe, look, we're on the cusp.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bahubali was in the top 3 of the US charts. Dangal is the biggest non-Hollywood foreign grossing film in China. So what this does is when you get that many bums on seats, when your ticket sales are that high, that's when attention starts to shift and people are like, maybe we need to take these guys seriously.
Okay.
Before that, with such a small market in terms of Hollywood content, it's still only 9-10% of our total of our market.
No, that's
so for them, it's just.
That's a very valid point. Unfortunately,
it's a business.
We're completely out of time. So quick message, Akanksha, to Anupama for a new show. I'm sure all actors love watching Anupama Chopra's film reviews. So what would you like to say to her? And do you personally also read a lot of reviews?
Yes, I do. And Anupama, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. We all love you. God bless you and good luck for your show.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much. Remember, At the Movies with Anupama Chopra, of course, launches tomorrow on NewsX. Thanks, Anupama Chopra, for joining us on the program. Thanks to other panelists, Akanksha, Dilip Cherin and Babdeep as well. A quick break on that note.